Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenhead, the Jewish psychotherapist. This week's Torah and Psychology post, Pasha Shoftim, is titled Nurturing Your Tree of Life. In this week's Pasha, we read about the Asherah tree, which was a tree which is planted and used for Avodah Zarah. The Gemara in Sanhedrin points out the juxtaposition between the pasuk relating to the Asherah and the psukim dealing with the appointment of judges. And the Gemara therefore learns out that if a person is appointed, if an unworthy person is appointed as a judge, it is the equivalent of planting an Asherah tree for Avodah Zarah. Now I want to understand what is this, and the Gemara tries to understand, and Mepharshim understand this relationship of how an unworthy judge is equatable to an Asherah tree. And Rashi explains that it can be based on this idea of how man is viewed as being like a tree, in the sense that this can teach that a person can develop strong roots in the ground, stability based on Torah and mitzvahs, and they can grow strong, and they can nurture and grow beautiful, and they can produce beautiful fruits. And this is the potential of man, of being like a tree. But what Rashi is saying is that a person can have this potential, and they can grow and they can develop, but there is also the potential that in the end, the result will be that they produce rotten fruit. And this is the message, that it's all very well having the potential and a tree to be able to grow strong and beautiful, but if it's used in the wrong way, if this beauty and potential is used in the wrong way, for example, for Avodah Zarah, and it's destroying that potential, it's using it for a negative purpose. And therefore, if a judge who is unworthy, they might have all the qualities and characteristics of being wise and intelligent, they know the laws, and these are all they're able to fulfill certain characteristics and qualities to be a judge. But if they are unworthy in their character, then this is like planting a tree for Avodah Zarah. It's taking that potential and abusing it and using it for a wrong purpose, and it will produce rotten fruit. And that is why an unworthy judge is disqualified. And indeed, the Gemara in Sukkah talks about a lulav which is taken from an Asherah tree. A lulav that is taken from this tree for Avodah Zarah. And then the Gemara says that it's possible, it's disqualified, because something which is an Avodah Zarah needs to be burnt. It's going to be burnt, and therefore it's ktutei mechta shiur, that its shiur, its amount, its quantifiable existence is negated by the halacha. It's as if it doesn't exist. In reality, yes, you have a lulav, you have a branch taken from a tree. It's there. You have it physically. It's there. But from a halachic perspective, it is disqualified, and the shiur, its amount, is negated, and therefore it's disqualified. It's as if it's not there. And we can take this idea, and if we put it together, we can look at people, and we can say, definitely from a positive psychology perspective and from a humanistic perspective, that everyone has potential and is inclined towards self-fulfillment, self-actualization, to be successful, to try to be the best that they can. And often part of my work as a therapist is to help the client to recognize and notice their talents, their skills, their positive qualities, to really experience to the full their success and their achievements, and to notice it. And this gives them the opportunity to really experience it and internalize it, so that they can able to both acknowledge and notice their potential, and to really implement this and to put it into action in their life. But this is the idea, this is the challenge, that you can have the potential, you can have all the qualities, but it depends how this can be implemented. And this can be very difficult, and sometimes it does require therapeutic help to put it into action, to produce beautiful fruits in your life. But the message of the Gemara in Sanhedrin, the Gemara in Sukkah, is that sometimes there are situations where there is beauty, and there is potential, there is this innate potential to succeed, but it can produce, even if there is the beauty and the growth of the tree, and the person can have all the right characteristics and qualities, that can be wise and clever and charismatic and intelligent, but it still might produce rotten fruits. And this, from a clinical perspective, can be related to the idea of a narcissistic personality disorder. The person that, at least outwardly, looks like they have all the right qualities, and the potential and success and achievement, but as a diagnosis or in reality, this narcissistic personality disorder produces rotten fruits in the sense of how it has a negative effect on their own life and on the life of other people as well. And if we take this idea of Ktute Mechta Shioen that the Gemara talks about, of the person being of a tree, of the lulav of an ashera being disqualified because its shiur, its quantifiable amount is negated, it's as if it doesn't exist, we can view this related to narcissistic personality disorder. How is their shiur negated or disqualified? So there are three different ways. First of all, perhaps there's the fallacy or this view, maybe from an academic perspective or just from a general perspective, that perhaps there's the ability to provide therapy for narcissistic personality disorder is almost impossible. The therapeutic potential is disqualified because of their characteristics of someone with narcissistic personality disorder. It makes it very difficult to treat them. So perhaps this idea that this negating of existence is that they cannot be helped. Or from a different perspective, is that someone with narcissistic personality disorder perhaps actually disqualifies these negative characteristics. In a way, they are oblivious to these negative characteristics, to their faults, or to the aspects of their personality which are negative, and it's this sort of blindness and their own self, that they disqualify these aspects of their character, which makes it very difficult to treat them. Or from a third perspective, is that they themselves, often with a person with narcissistic personality disorder, it's rooted although externally they might come across as being very confident and charismatic and successful, they are underneath that, or the root is actually very poor, low self-esteem. That they are actually not happy with themselves. And there's very high level of self-criticism. So it's almost like they don't have a shiur, they don't have an amount, they don't qualify themselves a sense of esteem. And what the therapy hopefully will do is to help them through this, to give them a sense of shiur, to give them a quantifiable sense of self-esteem and a self-qualification, that they shouldn't disqualify themselves. And the therapy the research does try to look at the challenges of narcissistic personality disorder and present almost a list of the do's and don'ts in terms of how to help someone with narcissistic personality disorder, with all the aspects of this this sort of grandiose view of themselves and this focus on success and achievement of being better than other people. Together with that, there is this rotten fruit of comorbidity with anxiety and depression and substance disorder. And we take this picture together, and hopefully with therapy it will help them to notice this, and hopefully the fruits that they can produce will be beautiful rather than rotten. Have a great Shabbos and keep well.